If you're a teacher and you've never used Padlet before, you're missing out on one of the easiest ways to boost student engagement in the classroom. In this video, I'll show you 10 ways on how teachers are using Padlet in their classroom this year and how you can too. My name is James. I'm a first grade teacher who helps other teachers use technology to save time and boost engagement in their room. If you aren't familiar what Padlet is, it's essentially an online collaborative tool that can be used as a digital bulletin board where students and teachers can have access. Rather than giving you a tour of every button and setting in Padlet, I want to show you how real teachers are using it in their classroom. As we go through the 10 ideas I have, I'll also point out the Padlet feature that would best go with it to make it work. The first way you could use Padlet is by creating exit tickets. You can have a link or a QR code posted on your board and students can log in and quickly answer a question that you've set. If we take a look, there are several options you could do this. At the top of Padlet, you have the different bulletin boards that you're able to post your questions on, and you can also have students become commentators and they can post back. Recently, Padlet has created these sandbox modes, which are better for collaboration, and you can also use them for exit tickets. So you could create a whiteboard where students would log in, your question would be on the board, and students would leave their response and write their name with it, so you know who left the response. You have many different formats that you could set up for the collaborative sandboxes, as well as the original Padlet boards. The second way is bell ringers or warm-up questions, so these can be completed very similarly to the exit tickets. When students walk in your room, you can have a link or QR code posted on the board and share with the students that when they enter the room, they need to scan the code, join the Padlet, and answer the questions. These can be great because it could get everyone participating right from the start of class, boost that engagement, and save you time, and it can be used as an easy discussion starter. Any of the formats, whether it's the boards or the collaborative spaces, either of them could work for your bell ringer. The third way is brainstorming ideas. This can be done in a few different ways. You can do this as teacher-led, where students are sharing ideas to you and you're the sole contributor to the Padlet and you're making all the changes. Or you can have this student-led where students are logging in and they are adding their ideas to your brainstorming space. Now we take a look, you do have two different options. As I said before, we have the standard Padlets at the top. These are a lot more organized. So if you want your brainstorming space to be more streamlined and organized, I would recommend using one of the first few boards at the top. But if you want it to be like a brain dump where students are just getting all their ideas, all the knowledge they have out, then you'd probably want to go with the sandbox so that way it's easier to get that information posted. The fourth way the teachers can use Padlet is using a student showcase. If your students are completing a project in class, if it is a big project where you would not be able to hang it up in the classroom, taking pictures and uploading it all into a digital space could be a great answer for that problem. That is why this is one of the ways I recommend using Padlet. If your students are making projects, if they're creating videos, presentations, or artwork, you can upload them, take photos and upload them. You can paste the videos right in there. You have so many ways you can share the projects your students created. For Showcase, I would highly recommend using the wall. It is the easiest one to upload to and to display in an organized manner, unless you're doing something where students are showcasing their backgrounds, cultures, where they're showcasing things from different places on a map. Then you probably would want to go with the map. I've seen teachers do a project where older students are doing a project about their heritage, so they're able to share on a map where their family comes from and showcase things from there. The fifth way is collaborative research. This is something that's going to be student-led, where students can add their sources, notes, artifacts, and even write down any questions that they may have. This is where we definitely would want to use the brainstorming web. So students have that central idea in the middle and they're able to connect all of their thoughts and artifacts and everything else that goes with their project. They're able to connect it all very neatly in one place and to show their relation. The sixth way that you can use Padlet is by creating virtual field trips. On these virtual field trips, you're able to share important facts about specific places. You're able to add photos, videos, articles, anything that you want about a specific location, you are able to link it right inside of Padlet. As I mentioned, one of the formats is maps, and this is exactly the one that you would want to use for virtual field trips. Once you click on map, it does pull up a map of the whole entire world. You are able to zoom in, zoom out to specific places you are focusing on. When you add a piece of content or something you want your students to learn, you will hit post and enter the name of the place that your content will be focused on. You can add as many posts as you want. I use this one every year when I create my Holidays Around the World unit. I'm able to pinpoint specific countries, and then I'm able to add photos, videos about that country, so my students are able to explore on their own time and learn about all of the different countries that we're covering. The next one is formative assessments. Very similar to exit tickets. You're able to ask students, what did they understand? What was confusing? And you're able to quickly see any student misunderstandings. For this one, you'll want to hit question of the day. And you will add that question that you want in that middle box. And then when students log in, their responses will be posted on a sticky note that will be placed somewhere on the board. And if you want to know who made each response, you'll just have to ask your students to write their name as well. The 8th way that you could be using Padlet is a digital resource hub. This could be great for older students who are doing work outside of the classroom, and especially for parents. Every year, parents ask me where to find our digital resources, how to access them, what are some extra tools students could be using for support at home. This is a great way to put all of those helpful links all in one place. So when parents ask those questions, you can direct them to your Padlet so they can find it with ease. For this one, I would recommend using the column. You're able to organize your resources by category. For example, if you're sharing math support tools, you can have one column dedicated to that. If you're sharing tools for ELA support, online libraries, you can create a second column for that. You can create as many columns as you want and add as many resources to those columns. The next way is book discussions. You can use this in many different ways. A few of them are students sharing their thoughts about a book, their favorite quotes, predictions, or even making connections. The sandbox modes would definitely be the best for book discussions, especially if you're comparing a current text with an old text. The Venn diagram one would be excellent for that. But also the brainstorming web could be great as well too, if the book title is your main topic, and then students can connect all of their quotes, ideas to that book. And the 10th and final way teachers can be using Padlet this year is for professional development. Whether you are sharing something with your staff or if your administration wants an easy way to share something with the entire staff as well, Padlet can be a great resource to do that. And you can really use Padlet in many different ways, such as staff brainstorming, sharing resources, or any teacher workshops. Depending on what you want to use it for, any of the formats would be great for professional development. One example I have, a friend of mine who is a teacher, their staff created a Padlet of all of the important technology resources that they've been introduced to over the last few years. So if a teacher recalls something they learned a few years ago that they thought might be helpful now, they can easily find it on the staff Padlet that every year is being added to and organized. Instead of having to really think back and try to find what was shared, everything will be in one place for you to find. That is one way you could do it. There's also many more. Those are the 10 ways that you could be using Padlet this year in your classroom. If you want me to make a more specific video on how to set up a Padlet account and create your first Padlet, comment the word Padlet in the comments below so I know that is something that you guys would like to see. But if you enjoyed today's video and you felt like you learned something, please hit that like and subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. I also created a Padlet of these 10 ways that I will link in the description below. So that way, if you want to quickly review the 10 ways that I shared today, you can find them in one place. That link will be in the description as well. But thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.